The ayes have it. Moving over, council, to our resolutions. Mr. Little.
Okay, the first resolution is a resolution approving the transfer of restaurant liquor license number R-10922 into the municipality of Monroeville from Laxmi Narana Corporation located at 479 Broadway Boulevard.
I'm seeking a motion.
Motion to deny.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to deny. Any comments, council?
I have a question of the solicitor.
Mr. Harvey.
Mr. Ratcher, is it not true that after we hear and have the public hearings, as the gentleman so pointed out, that we had those hearings for the public and then closed them, but isn't it kind of the responsibility, or aren't council people allowed to investigate this situation themselves?
Yes, the only issue here is what ends up in the record that's transmitted to the court if there's an appeal. As it is, the record was closed at the last meeting, so none of the comments here tonight would be part of that record, but the comments are still appropriate. It's still a public meeting. Public officials can comment on it. If the chair decides to take comment from anybody in the audience, that's up to the chair. So it's just a case where these comments would not be part of any record that was reviewed by an appellate court.
No, I'm just making my decision on my own investigation.
Any other comments, council?
Mr. Ratcher, is it okay if I read these, or should we vote first?
If you have something
If
to...
you have a comment, I believe that as long as the mayor's okay with it, you can make
Yeah,
that
Mr.
comment.
Mayor,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Wilson.
I received a couple letters from Mike Tobias, who's the president of the Pitcairn Council. And my name is Mike Tobias, and I am council president of the Borough of Pitcairn. In last evening's council meeting, there was a large number of citizens' comments regarding the possibility of alcohol being served at the Sunoco station located on Broadway. The citizens are concerned that if the sale of alcohol is approved at that gas station, it will cause issues in the borough of Pitcairn. The gas station is located next to a playground, a park, and the citizens are concerned that individuals purchasing alcohol at the Sunoco will consume the alcohol in these areas. Our Chief of Police, Scott Farley, reports that his officers are frequently called to the Sunoco, and we believe that if alcohol will be served there, it will only get worse. I understand that this area of our borough is a high crime area of crime, but I believe that if alcohol sales are approved at this Sunoco, it will be like throwing gasoline on a fire. It is my understanding that this issue will be voted on at this evening's Municipality of Monroeville Council meeting. I would ask that if voted upon tonight, that you please keep in mind the effect it will have on the borough of Pitcairn and its citizens. Let's see, he left his phone number and he signed it, Mike Tobias. I also have a letter from one of the concerned citizens. Has Monroeville Council considered the ramifications of another place selling beer and wine? Foremost, the proposed place is very close to our playgrounds and ball fields. I can well imagine the 21-year-olds buy softballs or baseballs, 21-year-olds buy softballs or baseballs buying it for them. Problem is, when there is trouble in Pitcairn, our police will probably be the first called. I cannot see where Pitcairn tax dollars should go to support Monroeville officers on a steady basis. Does Monroeville's zoning allow for that to happen? I find it convenient for the owner to be in an emergency in Johnstown so that his lawyer would be the presenter of, there isn't a part of that. The lawyer, Mr. Zoller, likened it to be no different than Sheetz or Speedway because you know the locations. Young people in Pittsburgh can now walk across the street. I am not sure if I understand when council said public hearing closed. I guess that means no more talking about it. I realize it would become revenue for Monroeville, but a nuisance for Pitcairn residents who already have. And I would have said this to call council members could not access their email addresses. Please give some insight into this matter. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Wilson. Any other comments, council?
I do
Mr.
have
Orsing?
one, and just like Mr. Harvey said, as you, all the Monroeville, most of you know that I sat where our current mayor is for 10 years, and I'm very familiar with the area. And for the record, as I second the motion to deny, that will be my vote. I know the area well, and I think it'll be a problem. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions, council? And once again, as Mr. Ratcher stated earlier, the comments made this evening, the letters that Mr. Wilson read into the record, the comments from Mayor Stevick, those are not part of the public hearing for this item, but they are certainly part of this regular council meeting minutes. So at this point, we have a motion and a second to deny. So a vote in the affirmative is a vote to deny this application or this resolution. Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Ursinko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
The resolution is denied.